Yes, we're going to talk about Harry Potter. We're going to talk about the White Lotus, and we're going to talk about his new movie, Words of War. Jason Isaacs is here, joining the KJ Today Show.
Hi, how are you?
Oh, I'm excited to welcome you to the KJ Today Show. And it's an exciting day for you. We have a lot to talk about because you've got Words of War coming out. Like today's the day. People are going to be seeing this thing that you have poured your heart
The
into.
thing about things in the theater is people have to turn up. So I am flying to Los Angeles as soon as I get off this phone. And
Mhm.
Sean Penn and I are doing Q&As at the cinemas, and I hope the people turn up. Or else it'll just
Oh,
be Sean Penn and I playing solitaire at the front of the theater.
no kidding. Let's start because I mean you're going to be going into Q&A mode any second here. So let's start with our cues for you, Jason. You
Okay.
are you're you are no stranger to playing roles that are in movies about war and wartime, but this one's a little different for you. Your character is more in a supportive role, and it's the wife out there. How was that different for you?
Well, the producer is an old friend of mine. Her father was an activist, one of the earliest members of the ANC, and had to flee South Africa when his friends were getting killed. And she always wants to make campaigning films or films about subjects that have some real societal value as well as entertainment value. And she said, "I need you for a week." And I said, "Well, hold on, I'm quite busy." She went, "No, it's not a question. You're coming for a week to be in this film. It's about Anna Politkovskaya." And I went, "Okay, I'm in." Because she was one of the most extraordinary women that's ever existed in the history of journalism, and a lesson and an inspiration to us all to stand up and find your authentic voice. And she spoke the truth to power. And so, excuse me. So I was I was happy not only to play her husband because it's a complicated part and relationship. She became very well known and notorious all around the world for telling the Russian people what Putin was really doing and all the lies he was telling about why they'd invaded Chechnya and the things going on in their name. But also, her husband was eclipsed by his wife's fame. And that was very difficult for him. He admired her work, but on a personal level, he found it very difficult to stomach. And so that's a complicated thing to play, and I've seen that played out in many a household, in my business at least. And I was looking for, the other factor is opposite Maxine Peake, who's an actress I've admired for years. She's very, very well known in England, not so much in America, but she's a brilliant actress, nominated for a BAFTA next week. And just the chance to play opposite her was an exciting thing.
Well, we don't go too far into politics here, but I was curious how long ago this movie the script was presented to you, because as a woman myself in the current climate, seeing this movie come out right now feels very meaningful.
Well, it really does. I don't know if everyone knows, but tomorrow's Saturday. It's World Press Freedom Day. And journalists are more under threat than they've ever been. In certain places in the world, many places in the world, they're under threat for their lives. They're certainly under threat for their livelihoods. They're imprisoned and they're put on trial. But even in the West here, where the central pillar of a democracy is a free press, where you're able to say anything and ask anything, those freedoms are being shut down constantly. Access to the White House is not to be political, it's just a fact. AP is not allowed access to the White House anymore, for which the rest of the White House correspondents are up in arms. The Voice of America is people trying to shut it down. And this is a cautionary tale. When you lose that central pillar of democracy, you never get it back again. And it's how you track with a shift from autocracy, from democracy to autocracy, to dictatorship, is how free the press are. And so it's a story for all of us. It's not about then and there where it took place. It's about here and now, what's happening under our noses.
We are talking with Jason Isaacs, and the movie is Words of War, which is out today. And to shift a little bit over, it still stays in the same vein of things, but let's get a little lighter. You are been involved with a wonderful organization, Bravehound, which I'm a huge animal lover. I'm the kitty correspondent for Pet Pals TV. So I was really wanted to give you a little bit of time to talk about that wonderful cause and why it is so important to you to be connecting veterans with dogs and companionship.
Well, I mean, it's been my great privilege to play numbers of soldiers. If you're an actor, when you're younger at least, I now play retired soldiers, but I've played lots of cops and lots of soldiers. And to be around them, and most people who don't have contact with people who serve have no idea who they are and what they do, and also what it's like for them when they finish. And so I've played soldiers with PTSD, and I've certainly met plenty of them and been around Walter Reed and seen the treatments. And these people who have put their lives on the line for us to protect our freedoms need protecting and care for the rest of their lives often. And PTSD doesn't show up sometimes on average for 15 years. And I've seen actually what equine therapy and what canine therapy can do for people, having a companion, also having support groups. And you know, that's one of the things when USAID had its money cut, a bunch of veterans programs are gone. It's a heartbreaking, completely wrong thing for any country not to look after people who have done what those men and women have done for us. And yeah, the dogs do enormous things for them. Dogs give you unqualified love, and they give people a reason to live very often.
Do you personally have felt that connection with pets, haven't you? You got your own stories of that dog connection.
I don't know that my dog's safe. I do love my dog, and when I come home now after the trips abroad, my dog is the only one that runs to me. My daughters might be doing something else. My wife is on the phone, so you know, it's clear who loves me most in the household. But I wouldn't say dogs have saved my life. No, I've seen them do it for other people. Dogs and horses and all kinds of interaction with animals, because they're so pure and they're uncluttered with all of the kind of you know, the complexity of human engagement.
Jason, let's talk about the other project you have going on that seems like everybody is talking about these days, the White Lotus, which is so much fun, and I'm a sucker for a show that is, you know, that is smart, that has, you know, this ensemble cast and so many different storylines. How fun has it been for you to work on this show?
Well, the work on the show has been, there's two things, the work on the show and then there's been the reaction to the show. I mean, the scale of the reaction, the amount that it gave everybody, not just Americans, but all over the world, the chance to do that thing that hasn't happened for decades, which is, you know, the actual water cooler conversation. People were meeting to watch it together. The internet went nuts with people chatting about it and crazy theories about it. And it seemed to be in the zeitgeist. It's every coffee shop I went into, people seemed to be talking about it. So that just felt like a real gift to be part of something that gave, I mean, young people think it's new as well. That was hilarious. People go, it's amazing. People talk about it every week. And I tell them, you know, that's what TV used to be like before everybody binged things. So it was fun. I don't know, it was fun to make. We were 7 months away in a what was essentially like a giant steam room. And it was complicated to make. And also, I'm playing a guy who's really not having fun.
That's true.
So you know, there's a different time. Jason had a much more fun time than Tim. I liked it particularly when my kids came out to visit because it was a long way from home. A lot of people were a long way from home, a long way from their families for 7 months. And although it's a fabulous holiday destination, most people who do that go for a week or two and, you know, go in the ocean. We were getting dressed up and standing in makeup in rooms with TV lights and 40 sweaty men. So nobody should think we had a holiday making it.
All right. Well, you know, I mean, that is an interesting perspective that, you know, maybe Thailand is fun for a couple of weeks. Jason, before I let you go, there's, you got a gazillion people who love you from Harry Potter. I was just catching up. I want to say, were you on Jimmy Fallon not too long ago, and talking about how you played a really big role in creating the look of your character, right?
Well, I did. I mean, yes, I came up with the hair and the costumes and the wands and all that stuff. It was only because the whole cast is full of my absolute acting heroes, and they were all chewing up the scenery. And I thought, how am I going to make an impact around these gods of acting? And I wanted help from every single department. So I came up with the most extreme voice I could and an extreme look, so that I didn't just disappear into wallpaper. And I think a lot of creative decisions come out of terror and I don't know if it's narcissism, vanity. So many of the rest of the cast are people I have lined up in the rain to get return tickets to watch on stage. And I wanted all the help I could get to not be intimidated by them.
And we all know that there's more Harry Potter in the works. How do you feel about that? That wonderful world that you were such a big part of creating, continuing on with new actors and new stories.
Well, I went last night actually to Harry Potter and the Cursed Child in New York, and I went and met the cast backstage, and they're phenomenal. But we did a Q&A on stage afterwards, and I was reminded, watching these thousands of people with giant grins on their face, just of the amount of pleasure that those stories continue to give to the whole world, both in book form, in theatre form, and now it will be a television series. Each book will be a whole season. And it's an odd feeling, obviously, handing over the baton to someone else, Lucius, but I know who they've cast already. Some of them are friends of mine. They're brilliant actors. The people running up, the same people who ran the movies. And I know a whole new generation will have a whole new Lucius Malfoy. And it's, you just got to let it go. Like Tim Ratcliffe has at the end of White Lotus, you just got to go with fate and surrender. It is what it is.
All right, and back to Words of War. Before I let you go, it's out. It's out for everybody to see. Is there anything in particular you hope people really take away after seeing this movie, Jason?
Oh, just that they look around them. They work out where they're getting their news from. They support the legitimate news organizations as AI and misinformation creeps in from the corners. And they think they're getting their news from the internet, but they're not really. There's just people writing nonsense. Go to support real journalism in a free democracy. And so when you watch this film, you should be inspired to respect and honor and support people who are doing the hard work of getting out there and telling you the truth. Find who they are and support them.
Thank you so much, Jason. It has been absolutely lovely talking with you. Have a wonderful weekend and congrats on the new movie. Thanks for joining me for another celebrity interview. KJ Today, where you'll find the positive vibes of pop culture, people to know, and pets. If you like this interview, please make sure you give it a like, rate, review, and subscribe. And join us on YouTube the first Wednesday of every month for the full KJ Today show, where we play trivia, bring you more celebrity guests, and even a pet of the week to keep you feeling the positive vibes.